What is the number one household expense in the United States? Healthcare. Very
Hi,
expensive.
beautiful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by and supporting your girl on this channel. So, guys, in today's video, all credit goes to the creators in this video. You all are amazing. So, while scrolling on my For You page, right, I came across a couple of videos, rants actually, about frustrations in the US healthcare system. Okay, people are tired, and this is just a compilation of what they all had to say. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's get into these videos.
So I never considered myself a fan of the American healthcare system. If you've ever dealt with insurance, like, it's never a good experience. But since breaking my leg, I think I've been like radicalized against it. I broke my leg at an indoor climbing gym. I fell, and as I'm lying there on the mat, the workers at the climbing gym are like, "Do you want us to call an ambulance?" And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, that's expensive, and this doesn't feel like an ambulance-worthy situation. Like, I think of like getting shot, I'll call an ambulance. But I'm like, I'm not having a good time, but like, I don't want to pay thousands of dollars. So I call my partner, and they come pick me up, and we're like, okay, let's go to an urgent care that can do x-rays, and let's see what's up. Like, I honestly didn't think I'd broken anything. I thought maybe I had torn something, but let's just go check it out. So we go to urgent care, get x-rays, and they're like, this is a very serious break. You need to go see an orthopedic surgeon, like, immediately. I'm like, okay. So the next day, I go to an ankle specialist, and they were like, you need a trauma surgeon. So luckily there was a trauma surgeon that was doing rounds that day in the clinic, and he could squeeze me in. So I saw him, and he was like, this is a serious break, and it is very weird to see this type of break just like roll into the clinic. This is normally something I see in the ER. So clearly I should have probably taken that ambulance ride to the ER, and it just sucks because it's like I delayed my care by a few days because I was afraid of the cost. And I don't think that's a unique situation, but just like, how fucked up is that, So 2 days later I have surgery. Everything's been great so far. Healing is good, feeling, relatively good. And today I had my 2-week follow-up from surgery. So I go in, everything looks good. Doctor seems happy. He's like, okay, we're going to take the splint off. We're going to take the stitches out. We're going to put you in a boot, like a removable boot. So when you're home, I don't want you to wear it. I want you to be working on range of motion exercises, moving your foot up and down, whatnot. But like the boot is more for when you're out and about and you want that extra protection. So I'm supposed to like get it that day, So an assistant comes in, he's taking the stitches out, and after that he's like, okay, I'm gonna like run your insurance and we can see like how much this boot is gonna cost you. So he does all that. He's like, okay. So insurance is billing the boot at $500, which is ridiculous. And your insurance only covers 20% of that cost. So it's going to be like $400, which is ridiculous. And he says, but I know for a fact you can find this boot on Amazon for much less. So we go online, same exact boot, from even like the same like manufacturer and everything. And it was $135. So I pay for the expedited shipping. And so it comes out to be about $200. So that's coming in a few days. And he's like, yeah, like, I like to give people that option just because, like, yeah, I don't want you guys to, like, be paying an arm and a leg for something you can find online. So it's, like, something I'm sure he's, like, recommended before, and that sucks. That, like, I'm just so frustrated because it's, like, I should be focused on my healing. I shouldn't be focused on how much all this shit's gonna cost, Like, every time I get a notification in my email that I have a new insurance claim, I'm, like, terrified because I'm like, how much, like, I haven't seen anything come through for the surgery yet, and I'm really scared what that's gonna be. I'm really lucky that I do have savings, but like, I don't want to blow, like, I know savings are for emergencies, but this is not what I wanted to spend that money on. So, and it just sucks because, like, I was really close to paying that $400 because just psychologically having that protection, like, not having it right now feels really scary, because like my leg is just like totally uncovered right now. And it's, you know, I broke it 2 weeks ago. It's like it's not healed, you know? So anyways, the American healthcare system sucks, and I don't understand why it is like this. But yeah, that's my rant. And
let me just tell you one of my biggest worries about the US healthcare system as an orthopedic surgeon. So my biggest concern is that we are going to become a two-tiered system. So what that would mean is that essentially there are the haves and the have-nots. So people who have government insurance, who are waiting years and years to get their knee replacement, their hip replacement, and who are essentially just biding time until they get this done. And then there's the people with money who can afford to pay out of pocket and get their surgery as soon as possible. And so you might ask, what's the problem with that? And the problem is that most of us are going to be in the have-nots. I also start worrying about government and insurance dictating what technologies that we can use, what implants we can use, even more than they already are. The reasons I'm most worried about this is the current cuts to Medicare. This is kind of like the beginning of the end, because whether or not you know it, your private insurance actually follows what Medicare does often. And so as Medicare keeps getting cut, it becomes harder and harder for doctors to afford to take care of patients with Medicare insurance. And so what used to be a top of the line thing like, oh, I have my Medicare, I'm set for life, it's just not how it is anymore. And so if this concerns you too, I'd encourage you to reach out to your senator, to your congressperson, and to ask them to fight for the conversion factor for Medicare to be restored, and to make sure that Medicare payments match inflation so that doctors can keep taking care of everyone, regardless of what insurance that they have.
Hello, Facebook people. I want to say something here. Want to vent about this healthcare system. I've worked in healthcare for 20 years, nursing assistant, LVN, medical assistant, and went to school for healthcare administration. So I know my shit, and my mom has been sick for 4 months. Went into a hospital for breathing issues. Turns out renal failure somehow started getting better. Now she has fluid in her liver and around her heart. How does this happen? Well, malnutrition, dehydration. She's been in the hospital, transferred to rehab, long-term care facilities. Didn't go to the hospital. She was sent to the hospital again for other complications. Then she got a bed sore. Now it's a stage 3 because no one was there to check on her with our family and stuff. Everyone's working. And how does this happen? Now she's trying to be discharged home, which we don't have equipment at home. And I am circling around with doctors every day about my mom's medical condition. She's being pushed into hospice. She's still able to talk. She still could feed herself. She's still eating. She's not lethargic. And they're saying she has 6 months to live. What the fuck? What the fuck? This healthcare system is killing people. I'm just letting you know. Get on top of your game. Know your documentations. Write down everything. Because you think they're okay in the hospital and they're not. You know, people are still not being turned. They're not being fed. They're not being offered water. And then the insurance wants to go ahead and kick them out. And that is the healthcare of the United States. It sucks. But anyways, thank you for listening.
The American healthcare system is truly doomed. What is the root cause of all this? Well, quite frankly, the forgotten patient. Large hospital corporations and insurance companies continue to function without regard for patient outcomes. Well, is there any hope in this seemingly overwhelming situation? Well, let me tell you how I deal with it. Honestly, one patient encounter at a time. With every family and patient that I take care of them as if they're my own. How can you move the needle in a positive direction? Well, at your next doctor's visit, use it as a time to educate yourself, ask questions, become informed. Number 2, research on the internet. Find experts that have opinions about your particular situation. Sadly, most Americans spend more time investigating and researching a refrigerator or a car than they do their own health care. And number 3, accountability. Take responsibility for your own health care. Engage in the process. If you do not engage in the doctor-patient relationship, it's doomed to fail. If this or other topics similar to this interest you, check out our newsletter, click the link in the bio, and have a great day.
What is something that I don't like living in the United States, but have grown to accept it? The biggest one is definitely medical care or healthcare. I just cannot imagine or understand why healthcare is so expensive in United States. Because USA is supposed to be a developed country. I expect the healthcare will be much better compared to China, but it's not. It is very slow and also expensive. And the insurance, I feel like healthcare insurance in the United States is like the biggest scam. Because sometimes it just does not work as it's supposed to be. When I first come to the United States, I really don't know how Americans can cope with this healthcare system. I thought I'm gonna die here. One time I have really bad toothache, and turns out it was my wisdom teeth. And I have to wait almost 3 weeks to get my wisdom teeth extracted. It was the most painful 3 weeks in my entire life. So next time, when my wisdom teeth on the other side starting to acting up, I booked myself a ticket and flew back to China just to get my wisdom teeth extraction. The ticket cost about $600 round trip, and the wisdom teeth extraction only cost about $150. And I went to a private dentist because that is the closest to my house. If I want, I can go to the public as well, which will be much cheaper, maybe like $80. So compared to the air ticket and the extraction, it only took me about $750 for both wisdom teeth. And in the United States, it took me $1,500 for one side. And I have to wait for 3 weeks to grab that appointment because there's no other appointment available back in the time. Like in China, no matter you're poor or rich, if you get sick, there's like 99% chance you can get taken care of immediately with a really reasonable price. Like if you have injury, headache, toothache, like the really random and normal treatment. But in America, everything needs an appointment. And it would take you so long to get an appointment. One winter, I got injury from ski, and I called 11 different doctors. The earliest appointment I can get is 3 months after. By this point, I'm just truly surprised how Americans can survive. Because now I'm still young, so I accept it. But when I'm getting older, I'm definitely thinking about maybe moving back to China, where healthcare is more accessible and affordable and quicker.
Guys, so this is not the first time I've seen or read about the US healthcare system, right? People make so many complaints about how expensive it is, how the insurance is not helping matters, and how it is not even reachable for them. So I'm trying to think about it, that is it that the insurance programs are too expensive? Even with coverages, people face high deductibles. Like, you think your insurance covers something, and by the time they come with the bill, it's really crazy. And compared to countries like Japan, China, there is no universal coverage. The US does not have a universal health care. So it leaves millions of people uninsured and underinsured. Another thing I'm thinking is that these hospitals, these insurance providers, I think many of them just operate under a profit-driven system. Okay, they are prioritizing revenue over patient care. Because I feel if patient care comes as the top on their list, the things that they are doing, they would not be doing it. And there are so many rural areas and hospitals that lack specialists. Therefore, all the patients that are in this area, they either have to travel long distances or they just forgo their treatment, which is not good. Then I'm thinking in another aspect that, or is it that there's shortage of doctors? Because look at that lady where she shared that toothache experience, and when she went skiing or something and broke her bones, she called the hospital, and the next appointment they had was 3 months time for somebody that needed an emergency. You can imagine. So is it that there is too little medical practitioners that can handle cases? Or is it that the US scheduling system, because it's possible that many healthcare systems, it's possible that they use maybe outdated appointment booking methods, so maybe everything is just clustered together. There is no adequate sorting of these things, which makes everything just washed up, and there is no walking option. I mean, you cannot just walk up to the hospital and just book an emergency appointment. Okay, if you need something that is an emergency, you have to go to the ER, and we all know how the ER is. It can be so clustered and rowdy sometimes. So leaving people with no other option than to go and wait. So I believe healthcare in any system should be number one. Okay, when the healthcare system of any economy is top priority, okay, people will have less things to complain about. My viewers from the US, what do you think about this? Let me know what you think in the comment section. How is the healthcare system in the United States as at now? Let me know what you think, especially in this new dispensation that we are in 2025. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know what your experiences are. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Please don't forget to stay safe and please subscribe. Ciao.